Assalamu alaikum. It's a pleasure to have you here. And today I'm going to let you know about the best times you could ideally work out during Ramadan. So I'll also include a clip at the end of the video where I'll just go over the most important things that you could do to lock in for Ramadan. And even you could start on like preparing right now for the Ramadan we have coming up to in 2025. It's really a beautiful time, really the best time where you could train yourself to be your ideal self for the next 11 months of the year. And it's a beautiful thing. And I'm sure you know there's like millions of videos out there already on the best way to prep for Ramadan every year. Ramadan 2024, 2023, there's really good videos from brothers that are doing amazing things out there, like Moaz, Yusuf Truth, and recently one of my closest friends, Jibril, he has actually posted a really strong Ramadan prep video, and it's also his first video. So I really would love for you guys to check him out because he really knocks it out the park, and it would be ideal for just getting in that mentality. So yeah, so I will instead focus more on giving you a different perspective on how you could work out during Ramadan. Can you even work out? Because we really do need to think about that. This month only comes once a year, and you should prioritize on top of all else your ibadah, how much you worship Allah, how you could improve that in every aspect of your life, so that after Ramadan you could carry on strong. And after Ramadan, when you don't have as much weight on you to do be dialed in every way, you could still keep your basic level of iman on a higher level than you entered Ramadan with initially before Ramadan. So there's four specific times you could work out during Ramadan, and depending on your goal of like your goal in general, maybe you're trying to cut, maybe you're trying to like lose fat, and you want to utilize that time in Ramadan to, because it's a really convenient time to do that. You may pick a certain specific time that I'll give you, or some other one. But yeah, let's get started. So the first specific time you could work out during Ramadan would be right after Fajr. So this could honestly be one of the best options right after Fajr, because it's basically you could arrange your routine in a way that you have your suhoor, you have a big healthy protein full meal, and you make your way to the mosque. And after you pray at the mosque, you could use that time to let it settle in, digest, do your ibadah. After praying Fajr, stay at the mosque for a bit, do your just do like your form of worshiping for a while, and then you can make your way to the gym. And that's it will basically be like you're able to work out with your fully replenished version. And so that's a good part. But also the con could be that you do get a little sluggish towards the later part of the day. So it's not a must, like it's not a given that you always will. But when you first start Ramadan, this might be a little taxing at first, and you will be like less energy during the later part of the day naturally. So do with that what you will. But this could be the ideal time depending on how you have structured your specific routine and what part of life you're in right now, student or you're fully working. Regardless, this is a really solid time for sure. Also, I forgot to mention, but this time is actually a time of so much barakah in general, because it's already a given and mentioned that the first hours right after Fajr is when whatever work you do, Allah has made it so this has it has the most blessings, because our Prophet ﷺ also did that, and that was the time where you would get your peak performance. And so just the fact that you do suhoor, you go to gym, you knock all those things out right away earlier in the day, it's like a chain of events that will make you feel like, wow, I already like have a strong momentum right away, because you hit those big things out of the way right away. And then you go into your day and you know that that's done, like for the day that's done. You just go about your day, and then you break your fast, go all that. So this has like a lot of positive momentum in general. Now, second like alternative time you could be working out during is 2 hours before. If so, somewhere around that range, 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. If you train during that, will be an ideal time if you want to, like, cut. And if you want to cut, that'll be a good time because you would have already burned through your energy storage throughout the day, and now when you're working out you're gonna actually burn through your fat. So it's good if you want to like lock in during Ramadan for cutting specifically. Do more of like an aggressive cut, and it's a month, so it's not gonna make you lose actual muscle. Trust me about that. It's not too aggressive, and yeah, it's possible. Pros is definitely that it will accelerate your fat loss in general, but con could be that you're just gonna be more drained by that point, so your workout will not be like on its optimal state. Like if like, let's say Fajr is basically like how you train, how your state is during training on a regular day outside of Ramadan, because you're fully replenished and you're going into it. But for this time, since it's right a bit before iftar, you're gonna be already a little taxed, but you could still work out and you might output like a certain less amount of energy, but overall you end up burning through more fat in general. And this could be an ideal time. Ramadan in general is a really good time to practice your technique with your movements at the gym, because I feel like we don't do that enough. We're always egotistical, almost trying to lift the heavier weight, but Ramadan is a good time to slow down that pace and focus on the technique. So right out of Ramadan, you're gonna go hit the ground running with really good form, and it's just gonna carry over, transfer over really well to everything in your lifting and calisthenics. It doesn't have to be lifting. I feel like I've been speaking of just lifting during this video, but in general, just working out, maybe martial art, if you do like wrestling or jujutsu, even that. So that could apply basically like what times. And yeah, also another benefit of this time would be that since you work out 2 hours before iftar, your body will be in the prime state to soak up all the nutrient and just all that right during iftar. And when I tell you, when you have that iftar after you've worked out, you will feel 10 times better. Like you'll just feel like life comes back into you and you'll come back really strong. So that could be a really good time. Now, this is the third time zone you could work out during Ramadan. And this is actually, personally, I feel like this one's a really squishy time and it's not the best. I would rather not pick this time most of the time. So repetitive. I would rather not go for this option most of the time, but some days if you feel like you missed the other times, this might be a good alternative. So it's basically right after iftar, before tarawih. So you have your iftar. If you want to choose this time, you should prioritize not overdoing it with what you eat, and definitely try to refrain from going too crazy on the oily iftars that you may have, because it's Ramadan. Depending on our families as well, there's more oily food options in general, and so it's like it's easy to cross that line. But basically, if you get that right, you ate just enough and you go make it to the gym, you still have a short workout because the time between Maghrib Tarawih is not that big. So it's like I'd rather you prioritize mentally and also just physically digesting and getting ready for your ibadah and tarawih than going to the gym during that time. And it could push late into your night in general, and it might be the thing that keeps you up later at night, so you end up now not being able to wake up for Fajr as easily, maybe even missing Fajr, all that. So this is not the most optimal time for sure, but it could be a good one for, let's say, like the weekends or certain other times when you missed certain the other times to work out. You could hit that, but it would have to be a really short workout if you want to still be on top of your ibadah and all that. Now, this time of working out is the fourth option, which is right after Taraweeh. So this is a good time for just feeling like you're working out during a normal day, because you ate during iftar, you digested, you did your tarawih, and now you're hydrated and everything, and you're ready to just go work out if you chose this time. But it's definitely even riskier than the right after maghrib before tarawih workout time, because Now you're really pushing it into the night. And if you still want to sleep and wake up for and make it to fudge, it's like a really low chance almost, because you working out during that time will make you more sleepy, I mean less sleepy, and it's just gonna push into your sleep and affect your next day. So definitely not always ideal, maybe on the weekends, like same for the last one, during maghrib, right after maghrib. These two times are ideal if you want to do it during weekends, because you want to stay up throughout the night and do more ibadah as well. So it could be complementary for those days. And so yeah, so those were the four times you could work out, fit your workout during Ramadan. And I will also leave the video with how to prep for Ramadan and lock in after this segment of the video. That was filmed in a portrait, not landscape mode on my phone. So that's that. But it's there. And it was a pleasure having you here. Take care. Please let me know if there's any other videos I should make, anything you guys want me to talk about. And like I said, guys, Ramadan is the peak time to really lock in and get rid of those bad habits. But more than anything, you should prioritize leaving off the bad habits, because if you leave the bad habits off and you could maintain that throughout Ramadan, you will leave the other side overall even more pious, even more on your deen. Your iman will be stronger, because you're already gonna be forgiven for your sins just in the act of striving towards Allah and doing all this in general. But the leaving bad habits part, that's the one thing that's not gonna be as easy after Ramadan. Ramadan is the one peak time, ideal time, where you're gonna be able to really take that off. If you shave it off then, you nipped it on the bud basically, and it's gonna be harder for you to get that habit back afterwards. So it's the ideal time. You prioritize leaving the bad habit more than you prioritize doing good deeds. Obviously, I'm not saying don't do good deeds, but keep your focus on what are the bad habits, the vices that I'm struggling with, what is the things that my lower self makes me slip into more, and you would know what that is for you personally. Prior to cutting that off during Ramadan, and you will see, you will leave the other side just 200 times better. Exaggeration, but you get the point. And so yeah, I wish you the best. It was a pleasure having you here. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Ramadan is coming faster day by day, and we are about to embark on this 30 days of cleansing very, very soon. So before we get right into it, I want to let you know about some key preparations we could take till Ramadan gets here. And a really good place to start would be reading Quran daily. So read at least 1 page a day minimum. So 1 page a day is honestly still a heavy task for some of us over other. Even me, there are periods where even a page can feel like it's a big chunk, but it is very, very possible. And I think a really strong way to do that would be if you simply break it down into after each prayer, do like one verse or two verse, and that shouldn't take like too long. It will take like 3 minutes max. And honestly, do it without the transliteration. So transliteration is like the English pronunciation of the Arabic words. I know it's harder that way, but it's the fact that you're struggling on the way of trying to do it that will give you a lot of barakah. There's a lot of reward in you struggling to do each letter, each word, Arabic, in its authentic form. But as you're doing it, the fact that you're pronouncing it the right way, even if you stumble 7 million times along the way, there's much more barakah in that. I already got my point across with that, so I'm gonna move on to the next topic. Another thing would be to try to start fasting on Mondays and Thursdays if possible. That would be a way to really get like a kickstart on like feeling out and get back into that mode where you could fast again, and it doesn't feel like a tall task as much when you get to day one of Ramadan, because initially it does hit us pretty hard. Those of us that love drinking coffee, and we need like 300 milligram of caffeine, there's like standards depending on the person. But to make our lives easier when we actually start Ramadan, it would be better if you follow the sunnah of doing fasting Monday or Thursday. Do either one or do both ideally. And yeah, and the days are shorter right now, so it will be really beneficial in the long run. I wish you lots of luck with that. And if there's anything you should take from this more than any other points, is to definitely note down some of your bad habits right now that you would like to kick away for good for the long run, because Ramadan is like training for the rest of the 11 months of the year. So more than anything else, this is the period where you should try your best to cut off one or two habits that are really plaguing you in your life right now. Maybe those habits are like your nafs, your lower like just desires and temptations that you may have as a human, that you give into here and there, and we're all struggling with something or another. So this is the perfect time where you should note that down and get to it. And another one would be to increase your istighfar. Istighfar is basically repentance, just saying astaghfirullah, I seek forgiveness in Allah. Try your best to get it to like a really high count, 5k to 10k, 5,000 to 10,000 times a day ideally. Maybe use a clicker, or tasbih, either one. And yeah, it was a pleasure having you here. Good luck, my brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.